Hello, my dear students. First and foremost, let me tell you this. I know that you have devoted some of your significant time, some of your significant efforts, and utmost diligence to master the fundamentals of the public policy, of which you are being hopeful that this would basically facilitate an understanding to what is program administration is all about. Now that you are already on the threshold of understanding this, okay, I know that you are already into the application of your understanding and take the ownership of all the learning processes that we will be undertaking in order for you to get equipped with all of these underpinnings. Now, we discuss, no, fundamentally what is program administration is. It says here that program administration refers to the systematic management of public sector, okay, or public sector programs to effectively implement government policies and deliver services to the public. You see, there is what we call as systematic management of public sector programs here. And what does it mean by that? Okay? When we say systematic management, this ensures that all the resources that the government has are being used efficiently and that the public sector programs achieve their intended outcomes. Okay? Kung titignan mo or kung titignan natin, itong systematic management ay structured approach ng government in order that all the resources that it has will not be wasted. Okay? You see, when the public sees that programs are being managed systematically and it deliver normative results, it enhances the trust of the people to the government. Mas napapalakas natin, mas napapaigting natin yung pagtitiwala ng taong bayan sa kaniyang pamahalaan. Ganun kahalaga yung systematic management of public sector programs. Okay? It enhances the trust of the people to the government. Napapalakas niya, napagpapatibay niya, and therefore, ano ba ang eventual effect niyan? Of course, with the people, okay, having a strong trust in the government, it now fosters civic engagement. Yung ugnayan ng tao sa kanyang pamahalaan, napapalakas din, napagpapatibay din. Okay? Ugnayan lang ba? Of course, hindi lang civic engagement, no? Meron din tayong tinatawag specifically yung tinatawag nating people's compliance. Mas napapasunod natin ng madali kay ang tao kay ayon sa kagustuhan ng kanyang gobyerno. It fosters civic engagement. It strengthens or it fortifies people's compliance. Hindi lang ugnayan, pati yung pagpapasunod natin sa tao mas napapadali. Okay? Yun ay kung may tiwala ang tao sa kanyang gobyerno. At yun naman ay kung ang gobyerno isaalang-alang yung tinatawag na systematic management of public sector programs. You see, these are all uh, into a domino effect eh. 'Di ba? Ang isa ay magbubunga ng isa. Okay? Ganon kahalaga yung tinatawag nating systematic management of public sector programs. Okay? Now, program administration also involves planning. It also involves organizing it also involves directing, it also involves coordinating and evaluating specific government initiatives that are designed to address societal needs or to improve community well-being. Planning, organizing, directing, coordinating, and evaluating are all distinctive matters, but they are all quite relevant too. Okay? When we speak of planning, this step is about identifying the goals of a government program. Ano ba yung goal, okay, ng programang iyan? Yan ba ay patungkol sa reduction of poverty? Okay? Yan ba ay patungkol sa improvement of infrastructure? Yan ba ay patungkol sa enhancement of educational system? So when we say planning, it identifies the goal of a government program. Ano ba yung goal? Ano ba yung adhikain ng programang yan? Ano ba yung minimithi ng programang yan? Ano ba yung tumbok ng programang yan? And with the identification of the goals of a government program, napakahalaga din na isaalang-alang yung tinatawag nating analyzation of the needs of the target population. Hindi lang yung ma-identify ninyo yung goal, hindi lang yung ma-identify natin yung goal ng programa, bagkus isaalang-alang din natin yung tinatawag nating analyzation of the needs of the target population. Okay? With that, napakaliwanag na yung planning na yan, okay, ay magdadala ng roadmap that outlines now what needs to be done, when to be done, by whom, and with what resources. Okay, yan ang sinasagot ng tinatawag nating planning. Okay, planning is the precondition to implementation. Anong gagawin natin kung yung gagawin natin ay hindi naman nagbunga ayon sa pagpaplano? Okay? Planning is the precondition to implementation. Okay? Ganyan kahalaga ang pagpaplano. Okay? When we say organizing, of course, sa planning, we have already created a roadmap that outlines now what needs to be done, when to be done, by whom, and with what resources that are needed. Dito naman sa organizing, we have to arrange the resources. Okay? We structure them. Okay? There has to be an arrangement of resources. Okay? Placement of human resources. Placement of financial resources. The material resources. The technical or technological resources. Napakadaming resources. And when we arrange them, yan, it form parts now what we so call as organizing. Okay? Directing. This involves leading and motivating the people that are involved, okay, in the initiative. Who are the people involved? Okay, of course, part yan ng planning. Pero when we say directing, we should lead and we should motivate the people who are involved. Okay, so that when we lead them, so that when we motivate them, okay, it will ensure that everybody will understand their roles that they are partaking in. And when they understand the roles that they are partaking in, they shall be guided towards the completion of a task. Diba? Mas mapapadaling maisagawa ang bagay-bagay sapagkat ang lahat naintindihan nila kung ano-ano yung tinatawag nating roles na kailangan nilang i-undertake. Okay? They are being guided, they are being led, they are being motivated. Okay? Iyan ang directing. Okay? So that it will guide them towards the completion of task. Okay? what is all about with coordinating. Now, sa coordination naman, okay, that ensures now that all activities by their students are aligned. Okay, that all activities are interconnected, that all activities are working in harmony, okay, across the various parts of the initiatives. Magkakaiba man yan, but with coordination, okay, they shall work harmoniously. Everything, no? Everybody shall work harmoniously. Okay, complementary, magkakaiba man yan, but still, they work harmoniously. They work, okay, complementarily. Yan naman ngayon ang purpose ng coordinating. Okay. Despite the variances, okay, ng lahat ng activities that are involved, okay, of course, nandun pa rin yung tinatawag nating alignment, interconnection, okay, and working in harmony. Okay. When we say coordinating, it's working together. Okay. On a personal note, okay, this is just to exemplify the concept, no? Hindi pa pwede na iba ang sinasabi ng isip, okay, sa sinasabi ng puso. Oh, hindi pa pwedeng you live a life na kung ano man ang sinasabi ng isip ay talagang it is completely contradictory to what the heart says. Okay? It may come, pero it does not consume you. Nangyayari man na iba ang sinasabi ng isip sa damdamin, nangyayari man yan because that is a just but a natural phenomenon, but it does not consume you, it does not control you, it does not dictate you. Okay? Ganyan ang coordination. May variances man, but we are trying to let everything work in harmony. Okay? Andun pa rin yung perfect alignment ng bawat activities. Okay? Nandun pa rin yung tinatawag nating interconnected or interconnectedness. Okay? Now, what is all about evaluating or evaluation? When we say evaluating, this entails the assessment of the effectiveness and the efficiency of the initiatives that are being undertaken, and that will help to determine if the goals were really achieved, okay, and what are the areas that are needed for improvement, and how, okay, the actions would demand now or ensure accountability on the part of those, no, most conventionally of those who are uh, implementing the said public sector programs. So this is all about, trying to basically understand what is program administration is all about, but there has more to be learned, no, from the uh, definitions, the meanings, okay, of program administration. But we just limit, okay, our basic understanding on the basic definition that is laid before us. Okay. Now we discuss, okay, public distrust in government program administration because it is often rooted, no, in a few uh, key concerns. Okay. Now, with the public distrust, okay, in government, okay, we can always say something about it, no? We can say things about it. Okay. Now, when we say perceived corruption, many citizens view government programs as susceptible to corruptions. where decisions, okay, may be driven by private interest rather than public welfare. Okay. Well, if we say corruption, okay, many citizens, no, are quite reluctant to believe that government is fundamentally honest to its people. Okay, when government actions, the decision-making processes, and the allocation of resources are not transparent. Okay, uh, just to cite an example, no, when the government actions, the decision making processes, and the allocation of resources are not transparent, it can lead, no, to suspicions of corruption. Okay, if people, okay, if people cannot see how decisions are made, okay, or how public funds are being spent, they may assume, okay, that there is something wrong or that there is something corrupt happening behind it. Hindi ba? Okay? Yes. If people cannot see how decisions are being made, more so on how public funds are being spent, they may assume, people may assume that there is something corrupt happening behind the closed doors. Okay. One concrete example of this is a lack of detailed financial reports on government spending. Okay. And this can make citizens question whether the spending of the government budgets are really used, okay, for the intended benefit of it. Okay. Just to cite another example, okay, on a perceived corruption, meron tayong tinatawag na inadequate or weak systems of the oversight. Meron tayong limited checks and balances. Okay? Paano ba naman magkakaroon ng check and balances? Okay? Doon pa lang sa struktura ng local government na meron tayo, kung ang punong ehekutibo ay at ang kanyang may bahay naman ay ang ah, humahalili doon sa sangay ng lehislatibo. Okay, let's say for example, mag-asawa ang naroon, no, sa uh, executive part and the legislative part, that could be inadequate or a weak system of an oversight since meron tayong limited checks and balances between the executive and the legislative. Okay? And with that, obviously, uh, it is deemed a failure to enforce anti-corruption laws because it can allow corrupt practices to flourish. Eh kasi nga limitado yung checks and balances. Okay? The principles of checks and balances. And when individuals believe that corrupt behavior will not be punished, it fuels the perception of corruption. Okay? Public officials who engage in unethical activities but are not held accountable may also lead to a widespread belief that corruption is not only prevalent but it is already acceptable. Yes, if the people or if the public officials are not held accountable despite of their unethical, of their immoral and illegal activities, this may lead to a widespread belief na yung corruption hindi lang prevalent but it has already an acceptable norm of the society. At iyon yung napakahirap, ha, sa parte ng taong bayan na tanggapin na lamang na ang korupsyon ay talagang kabahagi na, okay, ng tinatawag nating kultura or norms. Okay? Another example of corruption is that when certain individuals, my dear students, or certain groups appear to have a privilege of access to government, okay, access to government resources, okay, access to the government services, and access to the government opportunities due to their political connections, dahil sa backer, dahil sa kakilala, dahil sa padrino, syempre, it breeds the perception that corruption is really taking place. Di ba? People may see that the system as being rigged to the benefit to the few, or being rigged to the benefit of the few, kako sana, at the expense of the many. Di ba? Hmm. Dyan yung marami tayong political appointments. Nandyan siya dahil nandyan siya dahil inappoint siya ni ganito, ganyan. Okay? Si government contractor nandyan dahil syempre product siya ng tinatawag nating quid pro quo. Ha? I'll scratch your back provided that you'll scratch mine. Oh, subsidies are being awarded to family members. Okay? Subsidies are being awarded to friends dahil kakilala ni ganito, ni ganyan. Or di kaya political allies, kakampi niya kasi sa politika. Okay? Okay? Dahil kakampi niya sa politika, napagbibigyan. So nawawala na yung tinatawag nating merit-based approach. Okay? Of course, that often signals, okay, favoritism, and undeniably it raises the suspicions of corruption. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na historical precedents of corruption, no? Dito natin makikita, my dear students, that if a government or political system has a history of corruption, this legacy can create a strong perception of the ongoing corruption. So even if they are not the official, okay, or even if not every official or transaction is corrupt, the past scandals or corrupt practices can shape the public's trust in the government even at the present time. Kahit pa sabihin mong nangyari yan noon, hindi mo na maisisi sa tao kung dahil sa nangyari sa nakaraan ay meron silang pagkawala ng tiwala sa kanilang pamahalaan sa kasalukuyan. Okay? In uh, in countries where corrupt practices like yung bribery or yung pagsusuhol have been common, okay, more so in the past, citizens now, my dear students, may be more inclined to assume that such behavior continues, okay, regardless of the reformative efforts of some, just so to address the issue. Wala, natatakpan, no? Mas paniwalang paniwala ang karamihan na itong kalakaran na ito ay nagpapatuloy despite of some reforms or reformative efforts that are being pushed through just so to address this issue, or to address this let's say concern or problem. Okay? Meron din tayong tinatawag, no, na political polarization. I don't know if you have already come across this term, as it has already brought us to the topic at hand now. But when we say political polarization, of course, ito talagang nangyayari, no? In highly polarized political environment, uh, there are what we call as the opposing groups that accuses each other. So, si pula at si puti, they accuse each other, no, of corruption as a strategy, just so for them to discredit their rivals, no. Talagang sinasabi lang nila na ganito, corrupt yan, corrupt si ganito, in order for them just to discredit their rivals. So yung tinatawag nating paninirang puri. Okay? So sinasabi nila na, oh, corrupt yan. Okay? Corrupt si ganito. Okay? And that, of course, a perception of corruption becomes now a political tool. Okay? It becomes a political tool that blur between the lines of genuine corruption and political rivalry. Okay? It blurs the line between genuine corruption and political rivalry. Hindi mo na mawari kung ano ba talaga ang totoo, kung corrupt ba talaga yung taong yan, or sinasabi lang ng taong corrupt yan dahil kalaban niya sa politika. Okay? In some cases, allegations, my dear students, are made more for political gain just to undermine their opponents. Okay? Regardless of whether there is what we call as the solid evidence of a wrongdoing, meron man or wala, okay? Yang political polarization, nangyayari yan. Okay? They are being made for political gain, just to undermine their political opponents. Okay, regardless of whether there is really uh, a solid evidence of their wrongdoings. Okay, perceived corruptions. Many citizens view government programs as susceptible to corruption, where decisions may be driven by private interests. Cynical. Ang tawag natin dyan, cynical. Okay? Or cynical. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Ah, it is a distrustful of human sincerity. Yun ang ibig sabihin niyan. Ha? Distrustful of human sincerity. Why? Because that human is being driven by his or her personal interest. Okay? Wala sa kanya yung interest ng taong bayan. Ang sa kanya ay pansariling interest. Okay? Lack of transparency is the same as perceived corruption, because with lack of transparency, it also a open fuels of suspicion, and therefore it reduces trust, as people feel that they are being uninformed about how the programs really operate. Okay? Uh, how about inconsistency in the program outcomes? So, nandyan yung tinatawag nating public skepticism, which increases when government programs fail to deliver on promises or to produce, okay, inconsistent results. Okay. Of course, uh, public uh, skepticism towards the government, it really grows, no, it really grows significantly, especially when program fails to deliver on their promises. Okay, and this is because people begin to lose trust in the government's ability to fulfill its responsibilities. Okay? Because ito nga one concrete example, no? Because of the broken promises. When when the government make commitments such as improving public services, okay, such as reducing unemployment, such as enhancing infrastructures, and those promises that are not fulfilled, it creates now a frustration among the public. For example, if a government announces that a major healthcare reform will take place, but it fails to improve, okay, access or quality to it, citizens may begin to doubt the government's sincerity. Hindi lang yon. Buti sana kung sincerity lang ang pagdududahan ng tao. Hindi lang sincerity but even the competence. Ha? Competence. Maging yung kakayahan ng gobyerno na sana kaya niyang gawin yun, pagdududahan na rin ng taong bayan. Okay? If the government also provides erratic, yung inconsistent na results, eh, of course, the public may view that what has been done by the governments are ineffective or an offshoot of a poor planning, di ba? Magbibigay kasi yung inconsistent results ng signal sa taong bayan na lahat ng gagawin ng gobyerno is an offshoot of a poor management, of an offshoot of a corruption, and of course that eventually erodes trust of the people to the government. Okay? Failure to deliver on promises, okay, or inconsistency in results erodes the credibility of the government institutions. You know, as people see their expectations unmet, they become more cynical about the motivations behind the government actions. They often suspect the government of its inefficiency, mismanagement, or even worse, corruption. When the government does not produce tangible improvements, the public may become disengaged. The public may become apathetic. The public may become skeptical about the effectiveness of future initiatives. And this, my dear students, would tend to lower civic participation, weaker political engagement, and reduce public support for government policies. Yan ang nakakatakot na adverse effect ng tinatawag nating inconsistent of program outcomes. When government do not produce tangible improvements, subsequently, the public may become disengaged, apathetic, and skeptical, and it often suspects the government of its inefficiency. It often suspects the government of its mismanagement, or worse, corruption. Magkakaroon ng increased distrust and apathy. Okay, increase distrust and apathy. Number 4 is the politicization. Okay, the use of government programs to advance specific political agendas rather than addressing the broad public needs. Okay. Well, if the government programs are designed to benefit specific political groups, parties, or individuals rather than addressing the uh, rather than addressing the wider public needs, resources are often misallocated. And this can lead now, my dear students, to policies that would only favor a small, politically connected segment of the population, while ignoring or underfunding the essential services that could benefit even more the broader society. Politicization. Politicization, rather. Okay? That is a quite a heartache concern, because if you are not part of the political ally of a political leader implementing public policies through program administration, basically you will not favor the politically connected segment of the program that is being or are being administered. Necessities for program administration. Political will. The commitment of political leaders and policymakers to take decisive actions. Political will. Nasaan yung commitment, okay, ng political leaders natin? Napakahalaga nito in order ah, for the government to effectuate effective and efficient program administration. Political leaders have to take decisive actions. They have to do it. They have to move heaven and earth. Yun yung commitment, yung klase ng commitment na kakailanganin. Relentless, hindi papaawat, ah, proactive. Okay? It will move heaven and the earth. Yun yung political will na kinakailangan. Okay? A program need programs need a supportive legal and regulatory environment. Bakit kailangan ng supportive legal and regulatory environment? You listen. Uh, the phrase uh, program needs a supportive legal and regulatory environment emphasizes the importance of having the appropriate laws, the importance of having appropriate rules, the importance of having the appropriate policies in place to ensure that the effective implementation, okay, and success of government programs. Okay, if okay, uh, a supportive legal environment provides the foundation for programs to operate within the boundaries of laws. Laws and regulations establishes the program's legitimacy. Okay? Laws and regulations establishes the program's legitimacy. It defines the purpose, it defines the scope, it establishes the authority. My dear students, without proper legal backing, a program may face challenges in being recognized. Hindi naman batas eh. Ba't mo i-recognize? Di ba? So without proper legal backing, a program may face challenges in being recognized, being funded, or being implemented effectively. Yan mo na. Di naman batas eh. So it does not need, okay, a whole recognition. It does not need a whole attention to funding. It does not need for a roundabout implementation. Wala eh. Hindi naman batas eh. Yun yung dilemma. Okay? Kung yung program administration, wala siyang supportive legal and regulatory environment. Okay? Why regulations? Ganito lang. Kasimple yan, no? When we say regulations, my dear students, these are the specified, okay? Regulations specify rights. Regulations specify responsibilities of all, no? And that includes stakeholders, syempre, maging gobyerno, the service providers and beneficiaries, okay? And of course, with them, this ensures that everyone involved in the program would know what is expected of them. Example, in a social welfare program, regulations will define who will qualify for the assistance. Regulations will define who can apply. Regulations will define what the government's responsibilities are in providing those assistance. Ganon kahalaga yung regulations. It ensures that everyone involved in the program uh, knows what is expected of them and what they are entitled to, which helps now everybody to prevent abuses and which helps everybody to prevent misunderstanding. Dahil yung regulation inilalatag niya eh, 'di ba? Inilalatag niya, okay, kung ano dapat, okay, ang susundin. Accountability. Mm. Mechanisms for accountability. Okay? Such as regular reporting, audits, and evaluation. Why is there a need for accountability? Hmm? Of course, when we say accountability, these are the obligations, no, of individuals, of the concerned individuals, of the organizations, or the concerned organizations or institutions. Okay, specifically, no, in governance, to be answerable for all their actions, for all their decisions. Okay? Accountability is maging answerable ka lang sa lahat ng naging desisyon mo at sa lahat ng naging action mo. Okay? Yun ang ibig sabihin ng accountability. Be answerable to all your actions and decisions. Okay? With that, if you are answerable with your decisions and actions, of course, that would involve you being irresponsible to fulfilling your duties, di ba? Okay? It ensures that your actions align or should align with established rules, okay? Should align with established regulations, should align with uh, ethical standards. Okay? And therefore, accountability would also mean that the individuals or entities must explain their actions, and they have to face the potential consequences if they fail to meet their responsibilities. Yun lang ibig sabihin ng accountability. Maging answerable ka lang talaga sa lahat ng decisions and actions mo. Okay? Okay. Some importance of program administrations, of course, these were already extensively discussed at the outset, no? To efficiently allocate resources, to translate the policy goals into actions, okay, for the benefit of the public. Accountability is there, okay. Also, the operation of the government, smooth operation, okay, free from any barriers, okay, so that it would achieve the desired outcomes in a time that is being warranted. So it also fosters public confidence as well as manage programs. Okay, demonstrate the government's commitment to meeting the societal needs responsibly. Okay, public confidence or public trust. Okay, and of course, so that it could also adapt strategies to address the emerging challenges. Okay, making programs more resilient and responsive to changes. Okay, we live in a changing world, and therefore, what is highly expected of our actions, okay, it must be adaptive too. Okay, so that goes hand in hand. Okay, kung ano yung nire-require or dinedemand ng sitwasyon ay siya sanang tinutugunan, okay, ng pagkakataon. So there has uh, to be an adaptation to strategies to address the emerging challenges or the challenges that comes along the way, okay, and making the programs now a more resilient, more accommodating, and responsive to changes. Okay, we don't live no in a static landscape of living, but rather we live, okay, on a dynamic world. No, there is what we call as changing landscape, and thereby the government is being propelled to adapt to these demands. Okay, so last is for us to reflect on some key insights about the program administration, where Mahatma Gandhi echoed his thought, saying that a government that fails to deliver services is a government that fails to serve its people. Okay, meron tayong Latin term dyan, no? Okay, the Latin term for the supreme law is the welfare of the people. Salus populi suprema lex. The supreme law must be the welfare of the people. Okay. That phrase, my dear students, provides us the idea that the well-being, okay, and the interests of the people should be the highest priority in any government or legal system. This suggests that the laws of the land, the policies of the state, must be crafted, must be enforced with the primary goal of promoting the welfare or the overall benefit of the citizens. The phrase is rooted in the concept of the general welfare of the common good, which now asserts that the government exists to serve the needs of its people, and that any action, law, or policy that does not prioritize the welfare of the population is fundamentally flawed. The principle only underscores that the importance of public policies that aims to improve, to protect the lives of the people, okay, the principles underscores the importance, okay, of public policies that aim to protect and improve the lives of the people within a society. Of course, that includes now, my dear students, the access to uh, access to basic needs, okay, such as healthcare, okay, such as education, such as security, and also economic stability. Okay, so uh, the phrase implies that the laws should be judged based on their impact on the people it serves. So government decisions should not, okay, government decisions, even if it is legally valid, should always be re-evaluated if they harm or neglect the public welfare. Okay, we should place the common good above individual or special interests, and a government that disregards the welfare of the majority in favor of a few would only undermines its legitimacy as a government. Okay, accountability is the glue. Okay, we have already discussed about this. That accountability uh, is uh, obligation of everyone to be answerable for their actions, decisions, and outcomes. Okay, this would only mean that the essential factor that connects a person's or an organization's dedication to achieving its goal, organizations such as the government as a complex organization trying to achieve its goal, okay, should come, okay, with accountability. So, in other words, while commitment represents intention and the efforts to achieve something, accountability, my dear students, should ensure that there is a follow through and responsibility for achieving that goal. So, with that, let me end my discussions on the fundamental understanding on what is public administration, or let's say an introduction to a fundamental understanding on what is public or program administration is all about. So, thank you for your time. I just hope that you have just really learned a lot for today's or tonight's session. Thank you, and may you always engage yourself into a proactive learning initiatives. God bless, my dear students.